Hi guys, Vino here and welcome to this Vino Plunk production. And yes, this video is a time for a cuppa. I do have with me a now almost less than half filled cup of coffee that I was just drinking today on this lovely Sunday morning. I don't have my watch on me, it's currently charging, but it is currently 9:13 a.m. on Sunday the 28th of April. Yes, 28th of April 2024. How are you guys doing? Hopefully you are doing very, very well. So I'm actually recording this video on my Panasonic GH4, and the reason for that is I currently have access to a laptop that has a full-sized SD card reader in it. Why do I currently have access to a laptop that has a full-sized SD card reader? And the reason for that is my main laptop, my gaming laptop, is currently without an operating system, and as it stands at the moment I can't get an operating system onto it. Me and my housemate between us have tried everything. We have tried more Linux distros than I dare to mention. We have tried going all the way back to Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 9 then, Windows 8.1, 10, 11, you name it. We tried to make any install medium we can to stick into that computer to see if it's actually going to work. None of it has been working. And it's actually more so than I'm letting on right now. It has actually quite gutted me quite a bit. And one thing I'm going to say at this point, this is very much a first world problem kind of situation. I do want to sort of frame it, keep that in frame, because I know there's a lot of people out there that when people say these issues they are currently suffering with, that sometimes you can lose perspective when it comes to the relativity of what's going on at this precise moment. However, it is bumming me out quite a bit because there's a few things that have come out or are coming out on PC that I've wanted to play recently. So Manor Lords, a sort of RTS kind of town building game set in medieval times, has just released into game preview or early access onto Game Pass and onto Steam and other places, and I was actually really looking forward to playing that. I can't at the moment because I don't have a PC as it currently stands. And Homeworld 3 is coming out on the 13th of May, the latest installment in the, you could say long running, in that it's been, God, how many years it's been? 20, 30 years, something like that, between that, 20 years since the last Homeworld game. Yes, we did have Deserts of Karak, but that was a lot of people don't consider that really a sequel in the whole Homeworld series because it wasn't set in space. Homeworld 3 has been the first game in quite some time and has been heavily delayed, and now it's actually coming out on the 13th of May. Don't know if it's gone gold yet. Going gold means basically it's ready for publication and release, and there's no going back at that point. When a game says it's gone gold, that's it, it's going gold. It's an old term, and I believe the reason going gold is used is because the master disc is a gold disc, basically. And when they used the master back in the day, when they used to produce discs, actual discs, you have disc-based games. I know I'm going back quite some time, although you can still buy disc-based games nowadays if you know where to look. But the the master disc is actually gold, and they use the master disc to then press the other discs that then go out to the shops, and then the customers buy them from the shops. So I believe that's why it's called going gold. But anyway, going back on that, yes, I was actually strongly considering purchasing Homeworld 3 on Steam because I'm really looking forward to another space RTS game called Falling Frontier. That has been delayed by a whole year. Well, I say delayed by a whole year. I don't know if the developer had intended on releasing it this year, but towards the end of last year released a rather somber, I must say, announcement to say that they had intended on releasing Falling Frontier this year, last year, whenever it was, but they're having to delay the game till 2025, as I understand it, because it just wasn't in a state that they are happy with. I do get the feeling that the developer of Falling Frontier is a little bit of a perfectionist. To me, they probably could have released the game as is in early access, but they've promised gamers, they promised potential buyers, players of Falling Frontier, that the game would be a fully fledged game out of the box. Even though it is going into early access when it releases, they wanted to be a fully fledged game, not a glorified demo. And they felt if they'd released it at the end of last year, it would be that, it'd be a glorified demo. It only had the first 3 missions of the campaign in it, and I don't think the skirmish mode was really fleshed out, and I don't think it even had a multiplayer mode in it because the netcode hasn't been sorted out. So they made the decision to delay the game over a year. I know why, because netcode is a pain in the butt to get right, and if all they had was the first 3 missions of the campaign and the skirmish mode wasn't even that robust, then I can understand why they would delay it a whole year, because those things in of themselves take a long time to develop and get right. So with that being said, I wanted to purchase Homeworld 3. I was actually going to play through Homeworld 1 and 2 Remastered, which I bought recently off of CD Keys. I don't necessarily recommend you place things off of CD Keys or G2A. The reason for that is they do use nefarious means to get hold of those keys. If you don't know how they work, you know, when a YouTuber or a gaming media like IGN or GameSpot, when they say they will provide a review code by the developer. So what these sites do under many different email addresses, they email the distributors of the review keys. Basically, they hound them. It's basically essentially throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Now, in most cases, they get keys back. Basically, so they get free review keys back. Basically, now they're not just review keys, because most developers can trace review keys. They're also promotional keys. So when they go to like conventions or they go to other events, they can have those keys to give away. Now you can trace them. They do have ways of tracing them, but these companies such as CD Keys and G2A and all the other of those types of sites do is they get hold of these keys. However, the way they do it, they basically hound the companies to get hold of these keys, or they buy the keys at a much discounted price, and then they sell those keys. So they're selling free keys, basically. That's how they can afford to sell the things like the Master Chief Collection for a £5. Yes, I bought the Master Chief Collection off of CD Keys many years ago for £5, literally. Now, CD Keys no longer does Xbox keys. I wonder why. It's because Microsoft found out what they were doing and basically asked them to pull every single Xbox key off of their site, so they can no longer sell Xbox keys, but they still sell PC keys, hence their name, CD Keys. It's kind of a callback to when there used to be keys in a CD box, essentially. But yeah, I do purchase things from those sites. I'm not going to lie, they are very cheap sometimes and do very good deals, but the reason why I mention what I just mentioned is I like people to be in full possession of the facts of what they're about to do before they necessarily do it. So the fact that you now know that those companies operate that business structure, if you want to call it a business structure, then you're now more informed about what they do. And if you want to make the decision to support or not support them, then that's entirely up to you. It goes without saying that by purchasing one of those keys from one of those sites, you are not supporting the developer or publisher in any way. For some people, that might be a benefit, depending on if you wish to boycott the developer or the publisher. However, for quite a few people, I imagine that it's actually a deterrent that they would prefer to support the publisher or the developer. So I'm just making you aware of the ins and outs of using that kind of service. But yes, I recently bought Homeworld 1 and 2 off of, it was either CD Keys or GTA, G2A, one of those. It was literally £2 or £3 for each of them, or for the whole thing, because it comes with a whole pack, includes the original Homeworld 1 and 2 and Homeworld Remastered. Yeah, I was going to play through those in anticipation for Homeworld 3, but unfortunately my PC, of course, is now out of action. So that's that. However, and I have kind of buried the lead a little bit on this one. You guys probably know at this point, because I've been going on about it ad nauseum, I'm getting a Steam Deck on Tuesday. Slight alteration to that is I'm no longer buying it from a complete rando. I'm buying it from an ex-colleague. Shout out to Aaron if he's watching this video. Yes, so me and him are going to be meeting up at a McDonald's just over the way from where I used to work, and probably going to be picking up his Steam Deck. I know Aaron. I don't know this other person I was going to be buying it from. That other person, I was going to have to go on a bit of about an hour or so, maybe longer, trip to get there. Whereas with my ex-colleague, I can literally walk over 5 minutes over the road. And seeing as I'm getting a phone call at 10:30 that day, and we are meeting up before that phone call, then it's much better for me to meet up with Aaron than it would be to go all that way for an hour and then try and get back before I get this phone call. In fact, what I was probably going to have to do, is find a coffee shop or something within the area I was going to, in order to take that phone call and then make my way back after I received the phone call. The phone call was about 40 minutes long, I know, because I've received one before, and then go from there. Essentially, but with the change in plans now, should be a lot better. He's selling it for the exact same price than the other person was selling it. The difference is he has the kill switch case. I probably am later on in the day still going to take a trip to the place that I just mentioned to go to the CEX that's local to there. It's literally, so I need to get a bus to a place called The Hard, and then need to get a ferry from The Hard to this other place, and literally their CX is just up the road from the ferry port. The ferry takes what, 4 minutes, 5 minutes if that, to get from where I am to this other place, and then you walk up the road and the CX is just up the road. The reason for that is they have a USB hub that I'd like to use for the Steam Deck in order to connect things like monitors and keyboards and mice things to it. They have two USB hubs there right now. One is a kind of a cheapo one that you can buy off of Amazon. They are a dime a dozen. They have really weird names. This one is called an Ascris. Ascris, I think that's what it's called. It's like £8. You can buy it off of Amazon for like tenner, £9.99, and CX is selling it for £8. I know, such a discount for a second-hand item. Anyway, that's one USB hub that they're selling, or there's another one that they're selling that if you were to buy it brand new, it's like 50 quid. And they're selling it for a lot cheaper than that. Obviously, I'm not going to reveal exactly what that hub is, because if you can't tell, I'm kind of considering picking up that hub, because if you Google Ascris, this other one, you can't find a company on Google. You could be searching there for hours, and you wouldn't find a company, because there is no company called Ascris. However, you search the other hub on Google, and straight away up comes a company. They talk about their product. Yes, there are some spelling mistakes on the website, but as I understand, they are of German origin, so I'll let them off on that one. But there's an actual website you can go to, look up this item. You can see why it costs £50 if you were to buy it brand new, although it doesn't cost that if you to shop around. It just costs that if you buy it directly from the source. Amazon already sell it for like £20-30, so you can already get it cheaper than direct from source. but CX are selling it for quite a bit less than the £50 it goes for brand new, or even the £20 or £30 that Amazon sell it for. So that's probably the one I'm going to be going for. One of the other reasons I'm going for this particular dock as well is when I do get my laptop back up and running, it doesn't have a full-size SD card slot, which is the whole reason why I haven't been able to record videos using my GH4, because I can't get the footage off of because this doesn't work with micro SD cards. Basically, I need to use a full-sized card, and I've lost my SD card reader wherever it may be. I've just noticed something. Anyway, so that's the plan. Essentially, I may go to another CX, we'll see, that has a Evercade cart, and I was actually going to talk about that. This is the Hyper Megatech Super Pocket. This is the Taito edition of this. This is one of the Evercade systems. It plays these carts. I have quite a few of these now, and what I was going to say is I might be popping to a CX to pick up another one of these carts. We'll see how it goes, but I've been really enjoying playing this. It's got some shoulder buttons on the back there, but yeah, really been enjoying play this. This is part of the Evercade line of handheld, and this is put up by a company called Blaze, which are actually UK based company. But I've been really enjoying playing this, and I've been really enjoying picking up these carts, and there is a video coming on this very, very soon, a more in-depth video on all that kind of good stuff. I think that is everything I wanted to talk about in this video. I did record a version of this last night, but it wasn't to my liking, and I went straight to bed afterwards. Not intentionally, I went to lay down and ended up sleeping all the way through the night. It happens. Until next time, guys, please take care, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day. Ta-ra.